Today we're working on brakes on a 1982 720 pickup truck with a 4x4. As you can see, the caliper design is kind of odd. Basically it works out like this. You've got a piston right here that pushes on this brake pad right here, and then there's a piston back here, and it pulls this bracket across that pulls against this pad right here. So when you step on the brakes, these two pistons go two different directions. Okay? What we've got here is hardware, and we've ordered this kit from Centric Brakes. They're posi quiet, and they're a ceramic pad. But the reason I like them, comes with all your necessary hardware and your brake pads. So we're all ready to go, and those are FF pads, so they're pretty good. The other thing we'll need is some brake lube, a pry bar, another little pry bar, and a pair of needle nose, and we can get this job relatively done pretty quickly. The first step to this job is we're going to remove the pins that hold, we're going to remove the clips that hold the pin in. And if they've been in there for very long, yeah, there's the main pin clip. And then these right here, these pins right here, what they do is they hold the calipers, or they hold the brake pads tight up against the pin so they don't rattle. Okay. And they're just going to sit down here off of this pin. And then we're going to slide this pin out. And then that comes apart. And then those come out. Okay? And then the brake pads come up. Now what we do is we're going to slide, we're going to use this pry bar, we're going to try and squeeze these apart. So this back one, you got that, you can watch that piston moving in. And then on this one, try and get in there a little bit. And it's loose enough now we can pull the pad out. And as you can see, not much material left on that. So bad, Dave. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and, I've already pushed this piston back in. Basically what I did is I went down there and I worked either side after I got the pad out. I was able to move it in. So now it's going to push the back out a little bit, but we won't worry about that until we get this pad in. So here's your brake pad. Inboard and outboard should be different, but for some reason these don't come differently. There should be a little nubber on one, kind of like a bulge on this side, but that's fine, these will work. So we put this in and it slides down into place. Now if we were spending a whole bunch of time, we would remove this rotor and resurface it. But this is a captive rotor. This bolt bolts this rotor on. We'd have to completely disassemble this whole thing. We don't have a whole lot of time, so we're just going to do it this way. But just know the correct way is to resurface. Sometimes you can have people do an on-car brake lathing. And you'll notice this is a solid rotor too. Alright, so now once we've got this on, we're going to try and push this over a little bit more so we can get that caliper to open up enough. We'll grab the other brake pad, slide that in, and then it's just a matter of reassembling our pins and such. And here we are back together again, and I skipped a whole bunch of steps ahead in videoing. So basically, here's your hardware. The hardware is a little different on this setup, but it's a lot closer to what's OE. This clip right here that my finger's on, this is a spreader clip. This pushes the pads apart, puts a little tension on them so that it takes them down. These right here are your anti-rattle clips. They hold the pads nice and tight against the pins, and then over here is the spring retainer that goes and joins from pin to pin to prevent the pins from sliding in and out. So now a little bit of lube on the back of each of the brake pads, and then you could put a little bit of lube on these points as well. And then you're done. On to the next side.